Hello, hello, and happy Thursday to you. It is so great to be here with you. If you're joining me live, welcome to the show. We are here at Level Up Live. And of course, if you're joining me on the replay, happy replay day to you as well. Thank you so much for being here with you.
Welcome to Level Up with Winnie Sun. Market updates. Award-winning financial pro. Get ready. I present to you Level Up with Winnie Sun.
Hello, friends. Happy Thursday. I'm Winnie Sun, your host, Forbes contributor, CNBC council member, and award-winning financial pro. Here to keep you on top of all things relevant, trending, business, of course, what's happening today, and of course, my favorite topic, travel, of course. But most important, you're part of today's discussion. So thanks so much for joining me today. We're going to be sharing your commentary, audience feedback throughout our different moments of the show. So if you're here, let me know. First off, I would love to hear how your week's going. Have you been productive, of course? Are you doing anything special this weekend, maybe into the holidays? And most importantly, like, what was your last vacation? Because we're talking about travel day. I'm super excited. I have a special guest with me. She's the director of sales, marketing, and events at the Carmel Valley Ranch. And it's a really, really special place. And let me just say that I was just there not that long, a matter of weeks. And this was something that really hit home. It really hit me in the heart and something I was very excited to share with you. Now, my guest today is originally from Long Beach. She comes from hospitality. She's been at a lot of places, but you're gonna be surprised. Like I was just how young and exciting she is. So you're in for a treat. But before we get there, I want to say a quick hello. I see Vicky Garvey joining us on Facebook Live. Vicky, thank you so much for joining with us today. It's so nice to have you joining us from the UK. Wow, lots of friends on all the different platforms. Don't be shy. Come in, say hello. You're gonna want to check out this interview for sure. But before we get there, let's talk about how the market closed, right? We got to get to the serious stuff first. Well, unfortunately, the market didn't perform so great. Triple down day. The Dow closed down 146 points. The NASDAQ down 181. Yikes. And the S&P 500 also down 39 points. Unfortunately, as you know, what happened yesterday, Fed Reserve Chairman unfortunately increased the Fed rate again by 0.75%. And that's certainly signaling that inflation isn't done with yet. And it's not coming down anytime soon. And so continue to have sell-off that continued from yesterday to today. And let's talk about things that, are going in the direction that we want. News came out today also on United Airlines, and this included American Airlines. And in fact, there are pilot negotiations are currently, and although U.S. airlines are profitable yet again, because now, we're sort of 2+ years into the pandemic and people are traveling once again, but pilots are saying, well, we've gone through a lot, we work a lot, but we really need some better conditions as we're dealing with inflation. So the biggest airlines in the United States here are negotiating these pilot contracts and talking to the different unions representing over 30,000 pilots at airlines such as United Airlines and American Airlines. And unfortunately, those talks seem to be at a standstill because the talks have been rejected of their potential contracts. And so we don't know what's going to happen as we go into the holiday season. Now, to give you an idea of just how big the pandemic's impact on travel was, in fact, we're talking about billions, almost the price of Twitter, like we've been talking about for the last few weeks that Elon Musk picked up recently. But the travel industry recorded losses of around $35 billion. This was in 2020. Now, things have certainly gotten better. In fact, we've seen travel not only get back to previous levels, but in some areas actually exceed past levels. In fact, the NPR has just reported that airlines are reporting such high demand and rising prices during this holiday season. So if you're going anywhere or you're planning to go anywhere, it definitely pays to shop and do your research and try to book those flights as soon as you can, because it doesn't look like prices are going to come down anytime soon. And it certainly looks like supply is decreasing as well. So I'm curious to see, for those of you joining us, say how many of you will be traveling this holiday season? How many of you been staying at home? And how many of you are you going to be doing a staycation? Maybe do a fun road trip. That's just some of the things that we're going to be talking about today. In fact, there was new data that came out of PricewaterhouseCoopers that showed that nearly 47% of those surveys said that they plan to travel this holiday season. And this is, we know that there's going to be travel cancellations. We know there's going to be things like that. But people are very excited to get back to traveling, maybe starting to drive somewhere. They just want to get away. And for good reason, right? Because through the pandemic, there were travel bans, and restrictions, lockdowns, and all these other things. Well, people are ready to get back into the swing of things. In fact, Christina, I feel like I just want to bring you in here because I want to talk about some of the news and some of the travel news. Christina, how are you today?
I'm great. Thank you, Winnie, for the invite. It's lovely to be on your show and to talk about travel. I love it.
You love it? I know this is something that you know so well, but before we jump in, let's give a quick introduction. So Christina Richardson, as you can tell, amazing. She's a strong passion for hospitality. So Christina is the director of sales, marketing, and events at the Carmel Valley Ranch, which is part of the Hyatt family. And she really believes that the Carmel Valley Ranch is a really wonderful place to cultivate a strong sense of culture with the associates that she shares as her guests. She's just a great human being. And I have a lot to thank from her. And I want to share some of the fun things that we just did recently. But so Christina, you're from Long Beach, I hear, and you've been in the hospitality industry for some time, right? With Hyatt for some time. So I guess Hyatt Regency Long Beach prior to this. And did I hear this right? So you actually moved to Hawaii for a bit. Can we talk about that?
So yes, in the 90s, I got my start with the Hyatt Regency Long Beach and fell in love with their culture back then. And then I moved to Hawaii in the late 90s and fell in love with the culture there. I mean, it's paradise. So it's not a bad place to go, and hospitality is very strong in that area, and was happy to be a part of that.
I love it. Well, Vicky joining us from the UK, and she's saying Long Beach is beautiful. It absolutely is beautiful. But wait till you see where she's at now, and you maybe have a whole higher level of beautiful, because goodness gracious, it's absolutely incredible. Christina, I don't know if you saw this study, but I thought I would share this with everyone here on our show. There's new data, of course, that came out of that travel just makes you feel good. I think you know this already, just because this is part of your life. But there's a study that came out from WebMD that said that traveling, believe it or not, is actually good for your well-being. And it's proven that it helps improve brain function. It boosts your mental health, which we know is so important, right? It helps alleviate things like anxiety and depression. We know that many of us are stressed out, but travel, believe it or not, it's scientific proven that they said this is really good for you. It has a strong impact on your mental health and also reduces your cortisol levels. This is actually like traveling for pleasure, not for work, has great benefits. Traveling for work, to be honest with you, has great benefits too. I can attest to that because I actually love traveling for work and pleasure. But leisure travel is so very much back, and it's sort of exceeding pre-pandemic levels. And I guess, Christina, you probably know this too, is that they say there's like three main categories of travelers that they're seeing right now. There's a traveler that says, finally I can travel because I had to reschedule my plans because of the pandemic and whatnot. And then there's others that say, I'm embracing the digital nomad lifestyle. I'm sure you heard that in Hawaii and Long Beach as well. I want to get away. I can still work, but doesn't mean I have to work in the office. Right now, there's much more people and more companies embracing that remote office. And then there's what they call revenge travel. This is something I hadn't heard of, but I would love, do you know what it is? If not, I'll define it for everybody.
Well, it's the pent up of not traveling, and then everyone has a boom. They need to get out. They want to travel. They want to see. And some do the extreme of getting on a plane, and others still feel comfortable and safe knowing that they can just get in a car.
They just can't get in a car. I love that. So, And I think we can all agree, right? That there's always an outlet for us. We've been working really hard. We got the holidays coming up, and some people just don't want to get on a plane and have to fly somewhere unless they have to. And I've been talking to a lot of clients and colleagues, and some they can't wait to get on the plane to see some loved ones in different parts of the country. But a big portion, probably like me, who say, you know what, I think I'm going to go for a staycation. I'm going to go for a road trip somewhere close enough, far enough that I don't have to get on a plane, especially with me, with a family of 5 and 3 kids. Sometimes it's just easier, right? You can just lug everything in the car and away you go. And so recently I had the opportunity to do this. So let me ask you this, Christina, before we jump into this story. A lot of people are looking at you and they see your title and they see the background behind you and they're like, wow, she has a great job. How does she get the job or position that she has today? Would you mind sharing your backstory with us really quickly?
Sure. I do have a great job and I feel blessed every day. And I have been given opportunities and support from, like I mentioned, Hyatt really takes care of their employees to make sure that they can help you grow in whatever passion you have. And pushing through some of those uncomfortable moments that at one point in my life I thought were fears, and then learning that it's really excitement. And when I did start to push through some of that, I really found that many opportunities came true, whether it be personally or professionally.
I love that. Okay. So this is what happened. There was a few weeks ago where, my kids were on break and I was like, I just want to get away. I've been working really hard, pushing really hard. We got the show, we've got all our clients, so much going on. I'm like, you know what? Let's just take a few days off and I booked this a little bit last minute. And I have some friends at Hyatt in corporate. So I feel like, I reached out to my friend. I said, hey, I want to get away somewhere. And several of my friends said, have you been to Carmel Valley Ranch? And to be honest with you, I hadn't been there before. And it really isn't even that far. So as many of you know, I'm in Southern California. So we're probably talking about a 5, maybe 6 hour drive, depending on how quickly you drive, could be even 4 hours, right? But so I said, okay. So I talked to my husband and we packed up the kids and we drove to Carmel Valley Ranch. And it was like, many of you who watch the show know I travel quite a bit. And before the pandemic, I was traveling almost every other week, right? For the show, to film and do all sorts of fun things with my clients. But, well, this was one of those trips that I'll probably remember for the rest of my life. And I think that's one that my kids will remember for the rest of life. So I wanted to share this with you because obviously Hyatt didn't ask us to do this. I wanted to do this. And I said, Christina, are you game? And she said, yes, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to share with you this place because when's the last time that you went somewhere? It could be, down the street. It could be some of you travel to that. You leave and you're like, wow, I just love those people. They are such incredible, incredible people. I don't know what you're feeding everybody, Christina, out in Carmel Valley Ranch. Maybe it's a honey tasting. Maybe it's all that organic food and sunshine and ocean and everything. But talk about from when you pull up, so here's a photo we're showing with you. Actually, I took this. So be mindful. This is just on my smartphone. But there's ocean, literally minutes from the resort, right? And then there's all these things. And this Christina surprised me with this because she loves me. And so I appreciate her for doing this so much. I love her back. The cookies were so good. Okay. So this looks really nice, but just to give you an idea, Vicky, since you're watching with us right here, this probably lasted about 2 minutes after the kids got into it. So, I mean, not the bottle of wine, of course. Don't worry, I brought that home. But everything else, the kids, they went through this like bees on honey. But yeah, it was such a special trip. And I thought it would make sense to share this with all of you, especially as you're going into your holiday season. And even if you're planning for travel to be one of your big goals for 2023, of places that should be on your radar. Because I know that, Christina, you talked about Hawaii just a moment ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I actually keep explaining this to my friends. I said it's kind of like visiting Hawaii without having to jump on a plane, and they just don't have shaved ice. But the things that you like about Hawaii is at Carmel Valley Ranch, minus the crowds and
Mhm.
sort of that like not being able to get into places. Like it's just so serene. You think that's accurate?
It is. Some people ask me, how could you leave Hawaii? I worked at the Hyatt Regency Maui before I came here. And yes, Hawaii is paradise, and the Hyatt Regency Maui is pretty hard to top. But I
Mm-hmm.
feel like when I came here, it was pretty equal. The sense of culture just in the community, the beauty, the mere beauty of when you drive into the property really does feel like paradise to me.
Okay. Well, for those who are watching, they're sort of not sure what we're talking about, Christina. So we need to sort of unwind this a little bit. So let's do this. Let's talk a little bit about what sets Carmel Valley Ranch apart from other hotels in the area. What makes it different? Because I think if when we think of a hotel, we think of a building, we think of beds, we think we check in, we see somewhere parking, we see that type of thing. But this is not like your typical hotel. This is like an experience. So maybe you need to break it down from your perspective, from the insider's view, and not from us from the outside.
Sure. So there's something for everyone here, and it kind of has a Goldilocks weather. The Carmel Valley Ranch sits on 500 acres. So just imagine this beauty of what is my backdrop here is what I see every day. Here at the ranch, it's not just a golf course or a farm to table operation or a wellness center. We're all of those things and more. You can spend the day golfing. We have an 18 hole Peter Diet course. You can then in the afternoon drink some of our grown grapes. We have our own wine and bocce ball in the afternoon, and then finish it off in Valley Kitchen with a ribeye steak with produce from our organic garden. So if you can imagine, just that is just the tip of the iceberg of what we have to offer. Every activity you can think of that just really brings, kind of has the outside noise put aside and allows for your inner child to come out and really rejuvenate.
I love it. And you actually, I'm so glad that you brought that up because some of the things that really resonated for me, you didn't even touch on. So I want to
Mhm.
kind of talk about that too. So it's fun to see what you're sharing. But let me see. Okay, so I have Vicky joining us on Facebook. I see her. And let me tell you, Vicky, this is so cool. They actually have like I think 250,000 Italian honeybees that reside on Carmel Valley Ranch. So not only can you get this amazing food, but they have honey tasting, which is really cool. The kids can go look at the bees, and they have animals like farm
Mhm.
animals, which are so fun. And then and a llama, like we gotta talk about llama, but then my kids, we did ATV. Christina
Mhm.
introduced us to ATV, which was so fun. So that was something that kids really wanted to do, and I didn't know if we actually could fit it in, but she introduced us, so we did that. And also, she introduced us to archery. Now, my kids do archery. Some of you may know they compete, but then like they had never done it at a farm as beautiful as this. So it was literally one of the most memorable family vacations. For those of you who are thinking like, where is this paradise? It's actually just like I think it's just like an hour or very close to Silicon Valley. So it's very close to San Francisco and all that busy environment, but it's like that close. So it's near the coast. It's near Big Sur. So you can see Point Lobos, this beautiful natural reserve park thing. It's hard to explain, but you got to go check it out. I think everybody watching needs to go here and check it out. But this place that she's describing, when we first pulled up and we walked to our room, I actually went first because I wanted to check out where it was, make sure my husband parked the car in the right place. As soon as I walked up the sidewalk, a family of deer crossed me. a mom and like three babies. They just walked in front. So they got deer walking everywhere and little animals and goats and things. Maybe actually, I'm going to ask Curtis to share some of the footage that I took from the hotel. Yeah, so this is an ATV. This is John, the driver. Christina introduced me to him. He was so funny. That's him. That's his favorite goat. I forgot the goat's name, but that is his favorite. So you ever go there, you should go check that out. And he does ATV tour, which was so fun. And if you have little kids like I do, they love, little kids love driving off roading. And these are goats, and they're everywhere. They're like, well, they're in a certain area. They're not everywhere, but in a certain area. But you can go every day, so you can hike up there. You can talk to the animals, hang out with them, and see them. And I learned this fun fact. Now, Vicky is saying goat, call Billy. Actually, the name could be Billy. I don't remember. But they also have llamas on site. Now, Christina, do you know why they have llamas? Because I learned from John. I don't know if you know why.
We have alpacas.
Oh, alpacas. Okay.
Yeah.
Why do alpacas?
Well, I know that the story you had told me was the fact that so that coyotes, they protect against coyotes. But I mean, come on, they're just adorable.
They're so cute. They look like teddy bears on
They
like
are.
sticks.
They are the teddy bear alpaca, and they're very cute. And one of them had a baby. We have a total of 4, and they are adorable. We just recently shaved them, and the wool is being cleaned, and we're going to upurpose it, and upcycle it to make kitchen items, maybe like coasters. So we're excited about that, coming full circle with what we have here.
Oh, how cute. Now, see, this is what it looks like. How cute is that, right? Look at the baby. Yeah, so you can see them on site, and they have these little goats, and there's like, I don't know, my kids went crazy excited because there's these little goats that when they try to speak to you, they sound like babies. They sound like little children when they're talking. It's so adorable. All right, so is this what puts the ranch in Carmel Valley Ranch?
Yeah, there's many things that put the ranch in Carmel Valley Ranch. Well, if we just return to the roots of this land, it started in the late 1800s. Up until 1930, it was a working ranch with dairy operation and fruits and nuts. But then about a century later, we have a milking parlor and creamery. And then the ranch has come full circle in that regards, which is quite special. We also have a cheesemaker who makes a variety of different cheeses. And then, as you mentioned, the bees, we have an apiary that produces the honey. We have a vineyard that gives us our swing wines. We harvest and distill lavender from our fields to make essential oils. And we use all of our produce from the organic garden in our restaurant.
That's incredible. I didn't actually know that the vegetables that I was eating at the restaurant were from the garden. That's amazing. The garden was beautiful.
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm curious because I know my team had some favorite animals. Does your team have any favorite animals?
I would definitely say that the goats that we have are our favorite. The Sanson goats, they provide milk that we take to our creamery. But most of them bear the name, Roman names, Greek name, even a Celtic. But there's one in exception, which is a name is Chihuahua. And the reason why that one has an unusual name is that when he was born, it was very small, and they had to hand feed it, bottle feed it, and nurse her back to where she now is healthy and the same size as all the rest of them. And so that is the favorite amongst the staff here. My personal favorite are the Rusty and Dusty, which are the two, what are they? Cows that we have. They are just adorable. Those are my favorite.
See, people don't normally think, Christina, of cows being adorable, but they truly are adorable. And you have horses that are close to the
Mhm.
horses are beautiful too, next to the cows. And I don't know, I'm sure you know this, but John told me a story when we were there that like one of the cows was actually adopted by like I guess a teen that volunteered at the ranch before. I guess she used her own money and she got permission from Hyatt to have this cow live the rest of their life on site at the beautiful ranch because otherwise, John was like, otherwise they probably turn the cow into dog food. And my kids are like, oh, but
Oh,
but then it was such a sweet story because he said there was this teenager that was like she was like helping volunteer and she was learning about it and she took her own money, she saved the cow and it's now living its great life at Hyatt. And he was saying that at first, it was so small they had a bottle and feed, and now it's starting to eat on its own, and so they're very excited about this little cow.
but it is true, like that one story, how we got the goats first here in 2017 is we had an employee who lived in Big Sur and there was a fire and he couldn't house his goats anymore. So we brought the goats here. We have a horse we just acquired this week that was another employee. So we're adopting these wonderful animals, and they are living their best life, and all of us get to enjoy it.
Everyone can, and so that's the thing is like although it's a hotel, but it's like sanctuary for all these amazing pets. So and the pets and the animals and your ranch. But in addition to taking care of these animals, what we want to talk about is how do you care for your guests? And this one I think is very special because it's one thing to be in the hospitality industry, as you know, is that we might only come and visit you for a few days, maybe a weekend, maybe a week or two.
Mhm.
But we come and go and you're meeting different people, but your team seems to be so organically happy to take care of
Mhm.
us. When you think about that, like how do you care for your guests?
There is, for me personally, how I care is I listen. I like to engage with people. I like to make a conversation and start that. Like even with you, I like to hear people's story and where they come from and what's important to them and to see how I can enhance that. But you're right. All of our employees are very excited to work here and they have that passion for hospitality and they love the ranch. There's one story that really sticks out to me. There is a bellman and he worked for over 20 years and he had a strong passion for fly fishing. And a guest car rolled up and they were getting ready to check in. And as he was taking out their luggage, he noticed some fishing poles in the back.
Mm.
And that stirred up a conversation of a big passion that he had. And the family said that the father said that we really wanted to take our son. He has a passion for fishing. He really wants to catch a bass. And we are
Mhm.
determined to do this during this trip. And the bellman thought, oh my gosh, we share the same passion. He was so excited. He said, let's meet during your time. He took them to a local pond. They caught a bass and they were so excited. And what a memory it made. Just that passion that he took time out of his day to go and take them somewhere nearby. And their dream, the dream came true and they wrote back letters of just how excited that they were and what a special trip it was for them.
Yeah, it's all those little stories.
Mhm.
It's incredible because, as you know, you travel a lot. I travel a lot. This is a very special place. The people are so different. It's like almost like they're drinking honey water because they're so sweet. Like for example, in our circumstance, when we would go to the restaurant every morning for breakfast, and there was as you know, I asked you, someone at the front desk named Erica. She was always so sweet. She always knew when we would be there. She already had the table ready. She knew like where to sit. She had enough children's menus for how many kids we had. It was all set up and ready to go. Like we just showed up as if we were here. It felt so nice to be as a parent who always has to make breakfast, right? This was like a true treat to have someone treat us that well. And then, like, for example, when we did archery at your location too, the kids were saying, like, I wish Matthew was my coach at home because he's so nice. And my youngest wasn't sure if he wanted to compete and like continue archery. But after that lesson with Matthew, he's like, I love archery. This is the best day of my life. And that is like tell you that made everything. That made the whole trip just to hear him say that. So I'm sure you hear these stories all the time. I mean, I you're like an adult Disneyland. I think it's a case, Christine. I think you're pretty lucky.
I am very lucky, and I get to enjoy it when I enter and when I'm here. And when I leave is always the time when the deer are coming out and the turkeys are running around. And yes, it is. It is a bit of magic.
It is a bit of magic. So let me ask you this: are you guys doing anything special for the holidays? Are you going to be any special menus, any decorations? What's going on?
Well, we just finished Halloween and we had a lovely celebration here with nice activities. But we have Thanksgiving coming up and we have a lot of, we'll be lighting our tree. We have a swing tree. So we are going to light that and that will kick off for the Christmas season. And with that, we'll have hot chocolate and caroling and really to do it nice. Then we're going to have holiday hay bale rides, winter wonderland where we bath and body workshop. We're going to carol around the lodge. I did that last year with my department. That was quite fun. There's gingerbread house making. Just so many good celebrations. And then we have a New Year's Eve celebration and followed up with a brunch the next morning. So a lot to do over the holidays and we still have availability.
Oh, you still have availability. I was
Mhm.
going to ask you about that. Well, Vicky wants to know is if Santa is coming there.
Santa is coming here. You never know.
You
If
never
you're
know.
if you're naughty or nice, Santa might make an appearance.
Yeah, so that's something to keep in mind, parents. Santa might be making a trip. Well, no, but Cross X Fighter want to say a quick welcome. Also joining us from YouTube Live. Thank you so much for being here as well. We are talking to Christina Richardson from Carmel Valley Ranch, which is part of Hyatt. And my last vacation. Of course, I'm planning another one. I might go visit Christina sooner than later. But this was such a treat, and I know many of you feel this way. I mean, some holidays are coming up, the New Year's coming up. Many of us are feeling like we just want to get away and maybe change of scenery. And I'm a real big believer in like this location because like the people were so incredibly nice. I feel like I need to go see them again. In fact, I'm going to share with you a little fun video. If you go to this place, definitely, of course, stop at the front desk, tell them to leave a message for Christina that you were there, and it was so fun to see her on camera. But also see Jose at the restaurant. Okay, Jose, this is Jose. I asked him if it was okay to take some a footage and talk about the sweetest, dearest person. Let me tell you, if you go, it was as if I had known him for years. He treated us so well. I mean, I thought I was Beyonce. If you go see Jose, he'll treat you like Beyonce, maybe even Jay-Z. But it was incredible how good this was. Like, obviously, he just made sure that he made sure that you knew that he cared, and that I think is really special. This is like stand out for me, Christina. I know I talked about this for some bit, but what a very special place of great humans taking care of great humans. In fact, John told me that there was this one time there was a guest that came to your resort, and it was, I think, a special needs child that came, and they knew the child was a little nervous, and they actually did a special event to introduce the child to a small, I think maybe a small goat or a small cow or something, just to get them happy. And then it was a really big thing for that family. So it's always like little magical touches that you do, right?
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Let me ask you this, since we're doing this. Where do you go, Christina, for when you vacation?
Well, a lot of my family lives in Hawaii, so I tend to go to Hawaii a lot. But truly, I think it just depends. Every year is a little different in where I am in my life. I like to stay local right now, but I'm normally an international traveler. But I tend to go to Hawaii a lot.
I love it. And I know the Hawaii, the one that you're talking about, the Hyatt Regency in Maui. I love that resort. That was
Mhm.
also a favorite of mine. Get this, if you go there, they actually have tropical penguins at the
Yes.
resort, which how many of you didn't know that penguins were on Hawaii? I certainly did. It blew my mind. It was incredible too. So yeah, lots of fun things to do. But you know what? I see so many of my friends here joining us live, and I know your favorite segment, or one of your favorite segments, is when we do speed round. And so let's do it. Let's do speed round.
Speed round.
Okay, Christina, this is really fun. This is our fun segment where we give you 2 minutes to answer two questions, but we want to dig a little deeper and find out. And so I've got two questions prepared for you. Ready?
Yes.
Okay. Well, the first question I have for you is, when you, Christina, think of the greatest lesson of your adult life, what would you say that yours is?
Well, I mentioned it before, really pushing yourself through what you think are uncomfortable moments, which really is excitement. It opens up a world of opportunity for you. So that's my biggest lesson is not to let anything hold you back and really push through.
Really push you. I think that's good. I think sometimes we just have hesitation, maybe fear or just insecurities. We have pushed through. I think that's a good lesson for 2022, 2023. Gonna keep that written down and remembered. All right, I love that. Now, second question for you, Christina, is we really want to talk about your yes factor. When you think of your yes factor, we believe that everyone has their own. What do you think that yours is?
I believe my yes factor is listening. I really love to listen. You can take in so much when you hear what is being said and being present in the moment. It really allows you to give back and to really give back in a way that is something that wants to be received. That's my biggest yes factor. It always works.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, I think that as a fellow, as an introvert, I would say absolutely agree. I think listening is is definitely a yes factor, and it helps you really start to when you listen with all your senses, you really get a sense of what the other person's trying to share with you. So thank you so much for that. Well, with that, it's incredible. Is there anything else, Christina, that I didn't get a chance to ask you that I should have asked you?
I I just feel a great opportunity. You asking me to be on the show, I was quite shocked. I'm so excited to share my love for hospitality, the love I have working for Hyatt, working and representing such a wonderful property like Carmel Valley Ranch. I truly feel blessed and want to share this special place with everyone. It really does do something to your heart, and it's just a wonderful place.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, that's why I want to do this. I think so often, we might read or check out a website, but it's different to hear someone who actually works there and get the behind the
Mhm.
scenes and some of the things that we don't see. So that before you even go, you already feel like you can't wait to see you have a map to where you're going to your destination will be. Well, let me ask you this: for those who want to follow your journey, learn more about you, learn more about the property, where would you send them?
You can connect with me on LinkedIn. And then also, I really encourage you to go to our website at carmelvalleyranch.com to really learn a little bit more about the hotel as well as what you can expect. And then reach out to me if you have any questions.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Christina, for being on our show and being so generous with your thought, and of course sharing the property with us, and just being such an awesome human in general. It's been such a treat to get to know you better. And I really enjoy this time. And I can't wait to see you at the resort, of course, very, very soon. And of course, a huge thank you to all my friends and our friends for joining us from all different platforms. As a reminder, we do stream live on like 8 or 9 different platforms. So wherever you're joining us, share a comment and let people know about this show. If you don't mind, share the show on social media. Make sure you tag me so I can properly give you a thank you on our next show. I truly appreciate it. And as a reminder, you can find full episodes of Level Up with Winnie Sun on NASDAQ, Amazon Fire, Roku, and many other places. And don't forget to check out Yes Factor with Winnie Sun on Apple Podcasts or anywhere else that you tune in podcasts, as this is part of the LinkedIn Podcast Network. And so please take a moment to like the stream, consider subscribing so you'll never miss a live stream or future upload. And with that, thank you so much, Christina. Such a treat. I hope to see you very soon, my friend. Thank you for
Thank
everything.
you so much.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much, my friends. Be well. And I can't wait to see you again next week. Take care now.